This is the interview show. I'm your host, Kristen Jackson. I'm here today with Eric Smith-Gunn, creator of Hijab. Hi, Eric.
Yeah, good. You said hijab correctly.
Oh, okay. I mean, who doesn't say it? How should
Believe me, there's
Really?
a lot of people that say it wrong. They say hijab or
Hijab, okay.
yeah, or hiccup or something like that. Whatever. I don't know. Whatever.
Okay, so why did you name this series Hijab?
Well, it's really not it's a play on words in a sense. Mm-hmm. I meant hijab not as the actual clothing, but I kind of meant it as a metaphor. Mm-hmm. In a sense, we cloak ourselves. They wear this hijab as a statement. Mm-hmm. And then I read when I was doing research on it, and I was reading about what the actual meaning of the hijab means, and it's kind of like means like someone who shields themselves from society. Mm-hmm. They use this.
It's a cloak.
It's
of
a cloak
modesty.
of modesty
Mm-hmm.
that kind of, in a sense, shields them from society. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was interesting. Why don't I explore that? Mm-hmm. And then I kept trying different titles. Nothing worked. Mm-hmm. So I just said, let's roll with this, see what happens.
I mean, is that normally how it goes for you? You just say, we're going to roll with something obviously as loaded and as controversial as a name, a garment, a religion that is extremely, in the eye and in the mouths of people in our nation, especially in this time.
Right.
Tell me more about that.
Well, I kind of like when I was starting a story, mm-hmm. It kind of started off as a dream. And I dreamt about me on the Metro rail station. Mm-hmm. And I saw this guy who I assumed was a suicide bomber. Mm-hmm. So then I got on the Metro rail with him together. We both got in together, and during the whole dream, I kept watching him. Mm-hmm. Like, what's this?
Subconsciously.
Yeah, like, what's this guy?
Yeah.
Is this guy gonna do something?
Yeah.
Is he gonna harm me? It's all about fear,
Yeah.
So then I saw him preparing like stuff, like he was gonna do something, but I woke up. And so I was sitting there going, okay, what did that mean? So I always write down my dreams. I'm always like, okay, this is my dreams. Okay, I'm talking in my phone. Okay.
Memo time.
Yeah, exactly. Memo time.
Yes.
So I got on there, I talked into my phone, and I was basically saying, I had this dream, and this is what happened. Mm-hmm. And then, so then I went from there, basically. And so I didn't really think at first in terms of society how I would affect people, honestly. Mm-hmm. I'm always coming from the core of the truth of the characters. Yeah. And how are they speaking to each other? And I always come from that place first. Right. I can't think in broad terms because I have really no idea how anybody's going to accept this story. Right. Be perfectly honest with you. So I started from there, and then I started building a story based on that dream. Yeah. So Rania originally was that person. She was on the Metro rail.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. That was
Rania is really it's different. She's a woman, and
right.
in the first opening scene, we're introduced to her.
Oh, right.
But it's like this super jarring scene where you don't know if she's either experienced something or if she's the perpetrator behind it.
Right, exactly, and that's what I kind of wanted to express because, and I'll get to that point later. Is that when I had that dream, the first thing I thought about was judgment. Mm-hmm. Like, how dare I?
Yes.
Think this guy?
It's a lens.
Yeah.
For sure.
How dare I think this guy is a suicide bomber
for just existing over there? Yeah.
Hello. So what was I thinking? So then that's why I said, you know what? I need to examine myself. What the hell is going on with me? Mm-hmm. What kind of bullshit is that? Right? Like, what is that? And because I pride myself as being a person who's very open-minded, who's kind of culturally sound, and who does.
Yeah, I know that must have shaken you to the core. You're like, oh,
Yeah, it's like, damn, I got
who
some.
am I?
Yeah, exactly. I got some stuff going on. I got
Yeah.
to deal with. So that's what prompted me to write this story. So, like I said, like my wife mentioned, she said the original story was basically a short about this girl who was a British Muslim at the time, who saw this guy getting on the Metro rail that she thought was a suicide bomber. And it was the interaction between those two. And their story kind of came out of her trying to strike up a conversation with him, trying to figure out who he was. And then he does end up being a suicide bomber. And that's why my wife was like, after my wife read it, she's like, oh, it's a good story, but we ain't doing it.
right?
Right, yeah. It's like, she just got really scared, and she was just kind of like, no, that's just not. And I had other people read it, and the biggest thing that most people said was that you're kind of making this guy a hero.
Ooh, wow. They thought you were making him a hero. Interesting.
The way the original script was, because he kind of was charming. He was very charming. He was very intelligent. The way I wrote him, and basically he was a con artist. He kind of conned her into thinking that he was
sound.
He was sound and cool, and then all of a sudden he sets the bomb off. And that's like really kind of the story you don't. Really
I mean, it's dark, but
It's
it can happen.
Right,
It
can happen.
True, right?
But I mean, I don't know about you, but do you have those same kind of?
Absolutely.
Where you're at the airport or you're something, and you see a
I've
guy with
been
a
on
beard.
more than a few planes where I already have a fear of flying. Sometimes I'll do it, but I have a fear of just something happening. And then yes, there are things in me that have made me have pause as to, well, where did this come from? But I think our media is very good in portraying and pushing this image of a certain type of Muslim character, right? We only see, Muslim characters who are portrayed as malicious intent, right? In the United States, especially during these times.
Right.
So Rania is a very different character than, most characters that we've been seeing portrayed.
Right.
And you're not a Muslim woman. And
haven't been for a while.
So why from the perspective of a Spanish Muslim woman, in the United States and in Los Angeles in particular?
Yeah. Well, the Spanish part came from when I went to Spain, and me and my wife, we traveled to Spain, and our stepdaughter lives there in Spain. And when we were there, we saw a really huge Moorish population there, and it was awesome.
It's in everything.
It's in everything.
It's ingrained in the culture.
So that's probably where that came from. And then after that, I started researching the Spanish culture and the ones that are connected to Islam, which was a very small sect. Because a lot of them were saying, a lot of times where they were like saying, well, it was really hard for us to adjust to the Quran because it was written in Arabic. There was no Spanish version of it. It was kind of hard to find that. So I found that interesting.
Yeah, right. The language didn't travel with it.
Right. And to have a religion be so large, I mean, it's. It's 1 billion strong.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And to say that
worldwide.
And to say that there's not diversity inside of your own religion is kind of, with that many people, is kind of ridiculous.
Right.
So I said, okay, well, let me start with the Spanish part of all this, and then I said, okay, and then I said, I want to write a girl, a woman who has strength but has challenges. Not only with her own personal psychology, but challenges with her, within her own religion, and how society views her.
Right.
So I just came from that place, and I think Rania, there's aspects of Rania that are in me,
Well, and most of our characters.
Right. I mean, if I look at all my characters that I wrote in the story, little pieces of me everywhere. But she's the one that identify the most, even though I'm not Muslim.
Right.
I was raised Catholic. You know, I'm, you know, I have nothing to do with Islam, but it's a beautiful religion. It has a lot to say about a lot of things, but I'm not religious. I'm very spiritual. But I thought it was, I was very curious. My curiosity got the best of me. It started off just going, let me just find out the basics. And then I was like getting more deeper,
yeah.
deeper, and deeper, and deeper. To find out more about Islam. So I found it very, very, very interesting religion.
And I mean, I love the way that Rania is written and the way that she is very strong and really works to assert her voice. She's made it very clear who she is, and especially this really powerful scene that the incredible actress Andrea, you know, evoked in that moment. She clearly says that I can speak for myself, right? Do you feel like you gave that voice justice?
Yeah. I have faith that people will understand where she's coming from. But there's times where I feel like her, where, you know, I'm not an overtly expressive person when it comes to politics.
What?
When it comes to politics.
What? Get out
Yeah, I'm not on Facebook going, you know, well, I think, you know, Agent Orange is not doing, you know, whatever. I'm not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not out there expressing myself like, well, I allow my work to kind of
speak for yourself.
Speak for me. So I hide behind my little characters and I put my little opinions inside of them, you know?
Yeah.
And so, so with her, I was like, I was sneaking in all the things that I want to say. And Andrea, she's amazing. She took those words and just lived through it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, she said she was a channel in that moment too.
She really was, and we rehearsed a lot. I mean, we did a lot of rehearsals. I mean, I'm a person that likes to rehearse.
Yeah.
So we got together and we would sit down, and sometimes we wouldn't even do any dialogue. We would just talk about the character, and we would just say, well, "What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Well, I think she's this, and I think." So we would just open dialogue and just talk about the character, and that's always helpful for not only me as a director to how I want the direction to go, but to find out, you know, the buttons to push in her or to try to get her to, you know,
crack.
Right. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned, because I was an actor for 20 years, never really hit it big or anything like that, but I was an actor for a while, and I did a lot of theater and everything like that, and took thousands of courses and classes, studied it to the near end, and so to learn that language, to speak to an actor is a benefit.
Absolutely.
So I was able to get her to
go
there, but she's brave. She was so brave. She was so willing. She was so on point with what she wanted. So it was great. So yeah, that was a great experience. I remember we were all watching her do this monologue, and she had to do it like 5, 6, 7 times. I mean, over and over again, different takes, different, you know.
Yeah.
And each time
got realer.
Yeah. Each time she said, just give me some time.
Yeah.
And then she would grab it.
Yeah.
And we go, okay, ready? Roll, you know. And she was just
you
on
could feel
point.
she was steeped
Yeah.
in that moment.
Yeah,
for sure.
So it was cool. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that part. I mean.
Yeah. No, a lot. I
mean,
think. Yeah, and it's so funny
it's
because
very empowering to watch women, you know, assert themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect it, but I mean, I'm happy to see, you know, whenever a woman can speak for herself and with such authority over her destiny, over her path, all of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the placement of it is the way we place it, and you'll see when people see the film where we placed it. It kind of anchors. It's an anchor for the story. It kind of anchors her character because, you know, before that we see her going through some stuff, and then you know what I mean. We see her,
stuff.
Some stuff. I don't want to give too much away.
True, yeah.
But we see her being challenged.
Yeah.
And then we see, well, wow, she's challenged, but now there's some strength there.
Yeah.
There's some bravery there. There's some power there.
Absolutely.
You know. So I found that really interesting.
Well, I noticed too in this show, you use sound, you use color, in such a very distinctive way. You can tell. Well, it feels like there's like a difference, and they're kind of heavy at first, but it's like sound and visuals are very much actors that are very prominent in particular scenes. Was that your intention, or was I don't know, like was that just a happy accident? A Bob Ross happy accident?
No. All that stuff for me, I planned way ahead of time. And as we all know, everything is in the preparation. So before I have to see the movie in my head, right? And I saw all that. And for me, color is important, detail is important, sound is the most important thing. For me, picture is great, but sound is...
Really? More sound more than...
Have you ever seen a movie when the sound is bad?
Well, yeah. But not typically.
Not typically, right.
Not typically.
Or where you watch a film where the sound is amazing and you're like...
Yeah, it's true. It's an activated sense.
It activates those senses in you that takes everything to the next level.
I guess it does, it elevates it.
Right,
You're right.
Yeah. So I love sound, and I've loved it probably. I actually probably love it more than picture, because I think that, and I don't know why. I just do. I think that, they're both married together.
Totally.
Completely. But to actually have sound, stimulate you in a different way, I think is the best. Like, I like inventing new sounds for different things,
Yeah.
There's Raging Bull is like my favorite movie, and I know that it's hard for people to watch, but the sound in that movie is just unreal. Go home.
Okay.
Or whenever you have a chance, do your homework.
Yes.
Watch Raging Bull.
Okay.
Put your headsets on. If you ever have an opportunity, put your headsets on.
Okay.
And you're going to hear sounds that you recognize, but you don't know what they are. Like elephant sounds, and sounds of elephants and cows, and bells and drums, and you just won't recognize. So anyway, yeah.
You went there. You had such bold visuals too, and it was very jarring. Was this a terrifying project to reach, to start for you?
Yeah.
It was terrifying for you.
It was very terrifying.
To engage, really.
Yeah.
How did you overcome the fear?
I haven't yet. I'm still kind of afraid of it.
Really?
Yeah, because the subject matter and the rest of the story that we're going to deal with down the road is going to be, basically I wanted Rania to kind of be this religious detective where, I don't know if that's the right term to use for it, but I wanted her she's kind of going to be this person who's going to go around and trying to help people find their loved ones who are radicalized. That's kind of where it's going,
Wow.
And so she really feels that she can do this. She feels that's why, and you'll see in the story, there's a moment where she goes, I got it. This is what I'm going to do. Like, you know what I mean? I'm going to help this woman. I'm going to do this. And so, yeah, I still got some fears that I'm working through.
Okay.
But we'll see how that goes.
Well,
we'll
I'm
see how it's
looking forward to seeing how it develops, because I'm already attached to the story and the characters, and I'm excited to see how the story plays out, because and I hope it won't be typical, which I doubt coming from you.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
So I hope you have room to explore that and do that with this amazing cast.
Oh.
Yeah.
Blessed with the cast. Blessed with the cast. They it's really hard. The hardest thing, and I just want to talk about this real quick, is that the hardest thing is that finding actors to work for free, who will show up prepared, who will show up, on their days off, who will show up and work 12, 13, 14-hour days, and give you everything they got.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, and that goes for the crew too. It's not just the actors, but the crew too. They show up and they work, and it's sweat equity, but man, at its best. I mean, at its best, absolutely. So I am everyone in this cast, man. I am like in dire debt to everyone who came and gave their all. So yeah, I'm really pleased.
But you give your all with your projects.
Thanks.
With Pam, I love
And
what you
she is I didn't get a chance to talk about my wife.
You didn't get a chance to talk to her about her.
Yeah, this wouldn't be possible. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just gonna lay it on the line here.
Do it.
I'm gonna lay it on the line
Let
here.
her know.
This wouldn't happen if it wasn't for her. I mean, she really made this happen.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like, you know, every mechanism has an engine, and she kind of is the engine.
Yeah.
She's the engine.
You're like the spark.
I'm the spark.
She's the gas
right.
She
keeps it going. She said to me when we were going to start this, and I was doing little projects here and there, and I wasn't really committing to anything on a large scale. I was just doing like shooting music videos and shooting live concerts, and I had this script that I had wrote, and she says to me, she read it, and she's like, "Okay, we got to do this now."
Now.
Yeah, we got to do this now.
Love that.
We got to do this now.
And in this time, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
That's
exactly,
crazy.
exactly. So as soon as she said
pretty
that,
ballsy.
exactly.
I mean,
So as soon as she said that, I was like, "Okay, honey, okay, let's do it." So so we got started on it, and the rest is history. You know, we're getting it together, and we're going to premiere it, and we're going to see how the world takes it in, and I have faith that it's not for everybody, but I'm hoping that even if it's not for everybody, I'm hoping that people can find something in it that they can relate to.
Absolutely. And I think that that's something about you as a creator. You seem to be able to sniff out the deeper truths in people that they're searching for, even like that are personal, or also these universal truths through your storytelling. Why do you take a chance on people when these are such personal, you know, quests of your own?
It's a good question. I guess it comes from my childhood. Somebody did that for me.
I love that.
Somebody did that for me.
Paying it forward.
Yeah, so.
Oh, I just love talking to you guys. Both of you.
Oh, yeah. And you're
amazing.
awesome.
You're
God.
awesome, Eric. Oh, my God.
Thank
you so
great.
much for chatting with me about your process and about
great.
this awesome series, Hijab. I really look forward to where this goes and how this develops in the future. So thank you.
You're going to come to the premiere, right?
Duh. Of course. That's like.
You better come. Don't be flaking
there.
on me now.
Trust.
Okay.
Who flakes? Not me. Not me.
All right. It's all good. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
All right.
This is The Interview Show, and I've been your host, Kristen Jackson. Have a great one.